Coming up on Evening Edition, a church hosts its first prom for students with special needs, plus a last-minute push before the midterms tomorrow, and a vigil for the 4 killed in a hit-and-run during a Girl Scout outing. Live from Southern Illinois University, you're watching River Region Evening Edition. Incumbent U.S. Representative Mike Boss campaigned in Marion for the last time before the midterm election tomorrow. Good evening, I'm Devin Dahm.
And I'm Jacob Gordon. Earlier today, Boss stopped at Veterans Airport in Marion. Several candidates, including Erica Harold, Patrick Windhorst, Terry Bryant, Dale Fowler, and Amanda Bassigat, and Carrie Gill joined Boss for the campaign rally. Boss encouraged the audience to vote.
Everybody, reach out, grab them, bring them to the polls, encourage them to vote. If they've already voted, ask them to go ask others to vote. Vote. We've got to turn this around. We have to get people out.
Representative Mike Boss is the incumbent candidate for the 12th Congressional District.
Democratic gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker also held a rally today, stopping at Local 318 in Marion in a final campaign effort before tomorrow's midterm election. Several Democrats took part in the rally, including Juliana Stratton, Dick Durbin, Mike Frerichs, Kwame Raoul, Jason Woolard, and Steve Webb. Pritzker spoke out against his Republican opponent's stance on union jobs. Pritzker is running against incumbent GOP Governor Bruce Rauner.
You don't want a governor who's thinking about lowering your wages and lowering your workplace safety and getting rid of labor unions. You want a governor who's going to stand up and every day think about how to raise your wages.
He said his goals are to lower the cost of health care and higher education and raise wages. And a programming note to pass along to you, WSIU TV will be carrying PBS NewsHour's election special tomorrow night starting at 7 p.m. And WSIU Radio will be carrying NPR's live coverage with local updates throughout the night. Evening Edition will have a recap of the results Wednesday night at 5.
President Trump will be in Cape Girardeau later tonight. The event starting at 9 will include Fox News host Sean Hannity, who is scheduled to interview him live on his show. Other guests include country music artist Lee Greenwood and Cape Girardeau native and conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh. This is President Trump's final rally before the midterm elections tomorrow. And this political ad for President Trump has been called racist, and NBC, Fox, and Facebook say it will not air it. The ad, which violates the migrants traveling through Mexico as invaders and criminals, has outraged many viewers who called the ad racist. NBC announced the decision to pull the ad first, which was followed by Fox News. Facebook said it will no longer allow the Trump campaign to run the ad on its site because it violates their advertising policy. The ad can still be posted on Facebook, but there is no paid distribution.
Illinois' largest public pension system says the state needs to contribute 10% more to fund it next year. That's the word from the teachers' retirement system. The amount equals an increase of roughly $400 million over the next year. The State Journal-Register reports that the state needs to put more than $4.8 billion into the retirement fund for the budget year that begins July 1st. Illinois pension systems are more than $100 billion short of what is needed to pay promised benefits. And Illinois will receive nearly $700,000 in federal funds to expand the availability of locally grown produce. The Illinois Department of Agriculture announced last week that money will be divided among 12 projects. Some of the projects include improving milkweed for butterflies, better pest detection, and expanding hops farming. The state is the nation's largest producer of pumpkins and horseradish.
Well, most of the river region is seeing a lot of rain today, and a lot of places are seeing some flooding.
I know it's been really gross today. I'm really hoping that sun comes back out. I bet Zach has more. Let's go to him and see what's coming up.
All right, thank you, Jacob and Devin. And yes, it was very rainy today, but as we can see, the sun is going to come out soon. In a couple hours, we should expect to see the rain disappear. That's going to give us our partly cloudy evening tonight, about 46 degrees. Tomorrow morning, the sun's going to pop up around 6:30, and it should stay up for most of the day, we hope. And that'll be about 47 degrees by midday. We're going to get all the way up to 58. So we are going to see that rain go away. It will come out another day. We do have potential freeze coming later in the week, and there is possibilities for flooding in some areas. But I'll have all of that plus my 5-day forecast and more when I come back.
Thanks, Zach. Veterans Day is this Sunday, and Heartland Regional Medical Center is celebrating with the Trail of Heroes. After a ceremony at the Courtyard Cafe tomorrow at 10 a.m., over 500 flags will line the sidewalk to the hospital. Each flag will be flown in honor of a veteran. And snakes that have yet to migrate across Snake Road in the Shawnee National Forest can relax because officials are giving them a little more time to make the trek. The U.S. Forest Service says that stretch of road is usually closed through the end of October, but with the warmer fall weather, some snakes have not moved to their winter habitat. Snake Road will be closed until tomorrow to make sure stragglers don't get left behind. The Snake Road area of the Shawnee is home to 25 different species of snakes.
Saluki Tetris Truck was this Saturday. SIU hosted an interactive event that let kids climb all over, touch, and play with trucks. The event took place ahead of Saturday's football game against Western Illinois.
This weekend, Mount Vernon had a big event for a special occasion.
Evening Edition's Patrick Cotto has more.
On a cold Saturday night, prom season is underway, but why in the month of November?
This is just a good time of year, right before the holidays, before things get super crazy busy. And I also know that some of the other churches that we've looked at that do this event every year, this is actually the same time of year that they do theirs, and so we kind of patterned it after that.
The Central Christian Church in Mount Vernon hosted its first annual special needs prom, and Journey Pastor Gerald LaCrone had one special goal for the event.
Our goal and our mission here at Central Christian Church is loving God and loving people. And we felt that this is the perfect event to do that, to love God and to love people.
Special needs prom including dancing, food, games, and much more throughout the night. For the folks that got to work this event, they thought it was a great opportunity to help out.
And I was excited when I heard about it first, just from the sense of I love to dance and have a good time. But then they actually approached me and asked if I would be interested in being the DJ for this event.
Celebrity Tim Tebow has been hosting special needs prom throughout the country, but the church wanted to change things up.
We decided to be a little different and make it our own, so to speak. Nothing against Tim's organization and what he does, but we just kind of felt like we wanted to do our own.
After a good turnout for the event, Central Christian Church hopes to keep this tradition going. For Evening Edition, I'm Patrick Cotto.
And ahead on Evening Edition, one person is dead after a shooting at a Carolina detox center.
Plus, the United States is now reimposing all sanctions on Iran lifted by the 2015 nuclear deal. You're watching Evening Edition at 5. The United States announced today it is reimposing and expanding its sanctions on Iran.
This comes after the U.S. completes its withdrawal from the 2015 nuclear deal, a move President Trump announced earlier this year. Omar Jimenez has more from Washington.
The United States is now reimposing all sanctions on Iran lifted by the 2015 nuclear deal.
The Iranian regime has a choice. It can either do a 180-degree turn from its outlaw course of action and act like a normal country, or it can see its economy crumble.
These sanctions are now the second round of reimposed penalties since President Trump pulled out of the nuclear deal in May.
Today we sanctioned more than 700 individuals, entities, aircraft, and vessels as part of Treasury's largest ever single-day action targeting Iran.
It's a day that's been a long time coming for the Trump administration ever since it pulled out of the nuclear deal. Even President Trump tweeted out a Game of Thrones-style image of himself on Friday saying sanctions are coming. And now that November 5th is here, there's been swift reaction around the world. For starters, in Iran, President Hassan Rouhani isn't planning to play along.
We will break the sanctions with honor because sanctions are cruel, are against the international law, are against agreements, are against UN resolutions.
After the 2015 nuclear deal went into effect, the United States' own State Department certified several times that Iran was sticking to its end of the deal. And it's a deal that many countries still support, including France, Germany, the UK, Russia, and China. All of them largely disagree with the U.S.'s latest decision. In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
At least one person is dead and 2 others injured after a shooting at a California detox center. The shooting happened this morning at Helen Vine Detox Center in Marin County. Deputies found 2 men and a woman suffering from gunshot wounds. Officials say one of the men died. The other victims were taken to the hospital. No word on their conditions. Police have not given a possible motive for the shooting. And a newlywed couple died after a helicopter taking them from their wedding crashed. The crash happened early yesterday morning. The couple got married Saturday night at a family ranch. There's no word yet on what caused the crash, and federal authorities are now investigating.
A Wisconsin community gathered at Halstead Elementary School yesterday to honor the victims of the Girl Scout hit and run. 3 girls and 1 woman were killed in a hit and run. A truck struck the group as the Girl Scout troop was picking up trash along a road in Chippewa County. The 21-year-old driver, Colton True, fled the scene but later turned himself in. True admitted to huffing or intentionally inhaling chemical fumes before driving. True's bond was set at $250,000 and is set to appear in court tomorrow. A new ultra-powerful opioid is about to make its way into hospitals despite the ongoing opioid crisis plaguing the U.S. The Food and Drug Administration is facing criticism over the approval of a drug called Dysuvia. The opioid medication is 5 to 10 times more powerful than fentanyl and 1,000 times more potent than morphine. The painkiller can only be given in hospitals, but public advocacy groups fear it will lead to more overdoses.
Problem is we have this legacy of a lot of addiction associated with the past activities, and we're still seeing too much utilization. I think that's fueling too much new addiction.
According to the FDA, Dysuvia will not be available in retail pharmacies or for outpatient use.
FedEx announced today that it will be raising its rates starting in January. Prices will increase by an average of 4.9%, which matches the increase FedEx put into place at the start of this year. More online shopping has added the number of packages shipped. Higher fuel prices and the shortage of truck drivers also impacted the cost. The home improvement chain Lowe's is closing dozens of stores across the country starting next year. Today, Lowe's said it will be shutting down 20 locations in the U.S., including a Granite City store here in southern Illinois, along with 31 in Canada. According to Lowe's, the locations are underperforming and a majority are within 10 miles of another Lowe's location. The company says it will try to find jobs at nearby stores for the employees affected by the closings.
It was a rainy day across the river region this afternoon. Is the sunshine going to return? That's what we all want to know. Well, Zach has your forecast next.
But first, on Wall Street, stocks ended the day with mixed results. The Nightly Business Report has more coming up next at 5:30.
Hello and welcome back to River Region with your weather update. I'm Zach Warhus. It was rainy across the entire River Region today, about 55 degrees here in Carbondale, dew point 53. Humidity was 96%. There was a strong wind out of the east at about 9 miles an hour, and our barometers where it normally sits at about 29.73 degrees. We didn't get even close to our national highs today. The record, as you can see, was 83. We were only at about 57. We're a little bit shy of our average, actually, so we are starting to cool off a little bit more rapidly. If we go to our low, we were a little bit above the average there, so we're in kind of a weird spot right now, but didn't even get close to that record of 18 degrees. Thank goodness. That would have been the end of me. If we look at the rest of the region, we can see that everywhere was about the same temperature, with the exception of Waterloo, who was at a low of 48 degrees, so they were shivering up there. Carbondale was 57, Cape Girardeau was 56, Marion 55, Paducah and Evansville were the hottest at 59 degrees. They were sweating it out for sure, but everywhere saw rain. If we look over here, we can see that right about here is our region, and it's sitting in this green area. That means that everyone's in the mid-50s. If we can see right about here, there's a little bit of a cold front coming through, and this blue area right here, that's actually some freezing rain that we're going to see. If we go to our next slide, we can actually see that this purple, this is mixture of freezing rain and snow. So it's going to move up, going in towards the northern half of the state, Chicago. That area is going to see probably some as we keep moving forward, and that's probably what caused the colder temperatures for Waterloo. If we can see down here, this red, but that red was actually some flooding that's going on. If we can see, it's near Paducah, and this yellow is lots of extreme thunderstorms. So if you live in that area, be careful. It might actually start affecting you. If we move on to tonight, we can actually see that it's going to cool down a little bit, about 46 degrees. As we said, that river flood warning that you're going to see in Paducah and parts of Illinois as well, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Showers are going to end early tonight. Going to be partially cloudy by the time this night gets all the way in the swing of things. It's going to be about 10-mile-an-hour degree winds out of the southwest. Tomorrow morning for your bus stop, it's actually going to be nice for the kids. It's going to be 47 degrees, so a little bit chilly, but it's going to be sunny. The big thing here, though, is that wind. That wind's going to go right through a hoodie, so you might want to send them out with a jacket. If we go on to tomorrow, the rest of the day, it's going to stay sunny, 63% humidity, so it's not going to be too hot. About 62 degrees, going to feel actually pretty nice. The wind's going to keep going up to about 11 miles an hour. If we look at tomorrow night, we can see that it's going to stay about clear, a little bit cloudy actually, and very low chance of rain, about 20%. Now this brings us to our 5-day. So if we can look at our 5-day real quick, we can see that tomorrow we have sun, Wednesday sun. It's expected to be cloudy on Thursday and Friday, and on Saturday the sun is coming back. But look at that. Tomorrow, just in time to get out to the polls, if you're in close enough distance to walk, why wouldn't you? It's going to be 62 degrees and sunny. I mean, nothing better than that. Another thing I want to point out is the low temperatures. Look at that. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have 32, 32, and 23 degrees. So a potential for freezing as we get into these later nights.
Bundle up for sure.
No kidding.
It looks like it's going to be a much prettier week. Thanks, Zach.
You bet.
Thanks. And now here's Ryan Davis with a preview of what's coming up next in sports. Ryan.
Hello, sports fans. We got 2 nail-biters for you this weekend. One ended in a heartbreak and one in victory. Find out which is which on River Region Evening Edition Sports. SIU almost tasted its first home victory Saturday, but alas, it was not meant to be. Western Illinois kept it neck and neck throughout the first half, but a 30-yard touchdown pass from Matt DeSomer to Raphael Leonard late in the third quarter launched the Salukis ahead, 31-14. It was the fourth quarter that it all went downhill. Multiple penalties, turnovers, and incomplete passes, not to mention 20 unanswered points by Western, would secure the Salukis' loss, 34-31. The Dogs' final home game is Saturday during Senior Day against top 10 South Dakota State. And the shutout is over, and Saluki volleyball is finally in the win column. The win came Friday night in 4 sets over Indiana State, and all 4 sets were so tightly contested that they were decided by either 2 or 3 points. Patience Brown and Lindsey Paulson led the SIU attack, totaling double figures for each. But Saturday's matchup against Evansville was unfortunately for the team a return to a familiar result, getting swept. The Salukis head back out on the road for a tour of Iowa this weekend, facing Drake and Northern Iowa. And warmer temperatures couldn't warm up men's golf clubs. Saluki Golf finished in 17th at the Capanelli Classic in Hawaii. The team was 67 strokes behind the winner, California. Leading the team individually was Peyton Wilhoit, who tied for 42nd after shooting a 2 under par. Men's golf is off for the winter now, not competing until the middle of February when they travel down to Florida for the Gator Invitational. The men put on a show for the fans in their tune-up match before taking on Kentucky. The Salukis dominated East Central in their exhibition match Saturday, leaving almost a 30-point difference by the end of the game. Junior Aaron Cook was a controlling factor throughout the game, adding 10 assists and 7 rebounds to 13 points. Seniors Tick Bull and Cavion Pippin would also be major players as they dominated the second half, scoring 20 points in 20 minutes. This was Bull's first game in 18 months after a knee injury left him out for the season. The Saluki men open the season this weekend against the Kentucky Wildcats. Tip-off will be at 6 p.m. and can be seen on the SEC Network. And the women finished up exhibition season in style, laying down an 80-point beatdown on Westminster College. 11 Saluki women scored for the team, and 6 of them were in double digits, including freshman Caitlin Link with 19 points and sophomore Mackenzie Sylvie with 18. But it wasn't just offense that the team showed off, it was their enhanced defense. The Salukis kept the Blue Jays to single digits in 3 out of 4 quarters, with 25 steals and 48 rebounds.
Stayed engaged the entire game. And, you know, I've had a lot of teams get big leads and they get lazy and sloppy and the bench is talking to each other and they're not engaged in the game. And that's one thing that I was really impressed with this team, and I think it's a sign of maturity. I think it's a sign of how much they care for each other, but they were very engaged.
The Saluki season starts at University of Tennessee Martin Saturday before returning for its first home game November 14th. And if you didn't think that was just enough basketball, just wait because we got a little more for you all the way from Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo drives down the lane and leaps and bam! A huge one-handed slam dunk and one. Take another look at this Greek freak, just throws it down with authority, not even letting the foul slow him down. The Bucks would win the game against Sacramento. Now, I just look at that little that shot right there, and I just immediately go back to Space Jam when Michael Jordan just slams at the end. That's kind of what it reminded me right there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty impressive. Good basketball, and we have a lot more basketball coming up as the year goes on.
Yes, season's just getting started.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ryan, thanks. And are you going to need the umbrella to head to the polls tomorrow? Zach has the final check of your forecast next.
But first, as we head to break, be sure to follow us on social media at River Region News and check out our website for more local content. We'll be right back.
Well, finally tonight, thousands of torches illuminate the Tower of London moat to commemorate the end of World War I.
Also known at the time as the Great War, World War I ended on November 11, 1918. The Tower of London is hosting an 8-night event to mark the 100-year anniversary, where thousands of torches are lit each evening in the moat to honor the people who died during the war.
All right, Zach, looking at the weather, how are we looking to head to the polls tomorrow?
The weather actually couldn't be better to head for the polls. The rain broke just in time. It's going to end later tonight, and we're going to see hopefully 62 degrees and sunny by tomorrow midday. At the worst, we're going to get about 41 degrees, so you might want to throw on another jacket if you are not already wearing one and walk on over there. But I couldn't picture a better day to go to the polls. Wednesday, it's going to be great too. We do have some potential freezing temperatures as we get into the nights, so definitely going to want to watch out for that. If you have anything you don't want to get frozen solid, probably bring it in the house. And we do have river flood warnings too, so there's a little bit going on here in southern Illinois. There's more in Kentucky, so we do want to be watchful out for that. If you're in those areas, definitely make sure that you're going to be safe.
Exactly.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks. And thank you for joining us tonight. The Nightly Business Report is up next. I'm Jacob Gordon.
And I'm Devin Dawn for Zach Morris, Ryan Davis, and all the students who work on Evening Edition. Have a good night.